What if I told you that almost every major tech problem today comes down to one thing, or maybe two things? Not processors, not cameras, but AI and batteries. Think about it. Why can't your phone last 3 days? Why do electric cars still take longer to charge than filling up a gas tank? Why are companies obsessed with making devices thinner while somehow promising better battery life? The answer is simple. Battery technology has become the biggest bottleneck in modern tech. And right now, three major battery technologies are fighting for the future: the old king, lithium-ion, the new challenger, silicon carbon, and the technology everyone keeps hyping up for the future, solid state. But which one actually matters, and more importantly, which one should you care about when buying your next phone, laptop, or electric vehicle? Let's break it down. So, if you have used a smartphone or a laptop or even wireless earbuds, if you have touched tech in the last 20 to 30 years, you probably have used a lithium-ion battery. For nearly 3 decades, lithium-ion has ruled the battery world. And honestly, it's been pretty amazing. Here's the simple version of how it works. Inside the battery, lithium ions move back and forth between two sides. When you're using your device, the ions move one way. When you're charging, however, they move back. That's basically the entire magic trick. Billions of dollars in research later, manufacturers have become incredibly good at making these batteries. Lithium-ion batteries are relatively inexpensive. They are proven and reliable, manufactured at enormous scale, and available literally everywhere. It's part of the reason your smartphone doesn't cost $5,000. And it's the reason electric vehicles prices have fallen dramatically over the past decade. But here's the catch. We're running into physics, a giant wall. Lithium-ion batteries have been improved year after year, but those improvements are getting smaller and smaller. Sound familiar? Kind of like smartphones themselves. And every year, manufacturers walk on stage and proudly announce, "We've increased the battery life by 17 minutes. Wow. And that's just because lithium has limited energy density, and also it generates a lot of heat, and also it has slower charging speeds. But the biggest issue has to be the energy density. In simple terms, how much power can you cram into a given space? And lithium ion is getting dangerously close to its ceiling. Which brings us to our challenger, silicon carbon. Over the last year or two, you've probably noticed something strange. Some Chinese smartphone brands suddenly started shipping phones with 5,500 milliamp hour batteries, or even 6 or 7,000 milliamp hour batteries, without making the phones thicker. So what happened? Well, traditional lithium-ion batteries use graphite in the anode. Silicon carbon batteries, however, replace part of that graphite with silicon. And silicon can store significantly more lithium ions, which means more energy in the same physical space. This is huge for smartphones. Instead of making phones thicker, manufacturers can just fit more battery capacity into the exact same body, or keep battery size the same and make devices thinner, which explains why some of the newest ultra-thin phones suddenly have battery life that feels impossible. Actually, there is a very annoying problem. Silicon expands when it stores lithium, and when I say it expands, I mean a lot. Imagine repeatedly inflating and deflating a balloon thousands of times. Eventually, something breaks. That's been one of the biggest engineering challenges. The battery can swell, performance can degrade, longevity becomes harder to manage. Manufacturers have made huge progress here, but the tech is still relatively young compared to lithium-ion. Silicon carbon isn't replacing lithium-ion, it's evolving it. Think of it as lithium-ion 2.0. Same family, much better use of space, and right now, this is probably the most important battery innovation happening in smartphones. But if silicon carbon is the practical upgrade, solid state is the dream. Every few years, you'll hear a headline saying solid state batteries are coming. And honestly, people have been saying that for years now. But there's a reason the hype never dies. Because if solid state batteries reach mass production, they could completely change the game. See, traditional batteries use a liquid electrolyte. Solid state batteries, however, replace that liquid with a solid material. Sounds simple, but the consequences are enormous. See, one of the biggest risks in lithium-ion batteries is the flammable liquid inside. Remove that liquid and you dramatically reduce fire risk. That's a massive win, especially for electric vehicles. And solid-state batteries, however, could potentially store far more energy than today's batteries. I'm imagining phones lasting multiple days, laptops lasting even longer than that, and electric vehicles reaching dramatically higher ranges without making the batteries physically larger. Solid-state batteries also benefit from faster charging speeds. So why isn't everyone using them? Because reality showed up. Solid-state batteries are incredibly difficult to manufacture. They're expensive. Scaling production is hard. Maintaining durability over thousands of charge cycles is challenging. And building entire factories around a completely new battery architecture costs billions. So what should you actually care about? Here's a simple answer. If you're buying a gadget today, don't wait for a solid state. It's exciting, yes. It's promising, yes. But it's not something the average buyer can rely on yet. Instead, pay attention for silicon carbon batteries. This is where the biggest real-world improvements are happening right now. We're already seeing smartphones become thinner while carrying larger batteries than ever before. That's not marketing, that's genius progress. And for the next few years, silicon carbon is likely going to be the technology pushing battery life forward while the industry continues chasing the solid state dream. So if lithium ion built the modern tech world and solid state might eventually redefine it, silicon carbon is the technology quietly bridging the gap between the two. And honestly, that makes it one of the most important battery technologies you've probably never thought about. But what do you think? Would you rather have a phone that's ultra thin or a thicker phone with a gigantic battery that lasts 3 days? Let me know in the comments and I will catch you in the next one.